Hi, and welcome to the My Dog Made Me Do It Naturally podcast. I am your host, Kat Jepson, a canine nutritionist with an innate obsession with dogs and the natural ways in which we are driven to live because of them. So, let's get to it. Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the My Dog Made Me Do It Naturally podcast. I am your host, Kat Jepson, and this is the first of our short series. Today, I thought would be a good day to start talking about goal setting for 2024. The new year is literally just around the corner, and it's a great time to put our thoughts into actions to start to make the changes that we wish we'd started yesterday. Now, in terms of canine health and nutrition, you may have been thinking about making some small changes for a while, or you might already be on your new journey into natural and holistic health. But either way, wherever you are, it's time to reflect on the changes you've already made, on the changes you want to make, and your next steps moving forward. Now, from a psychological perspective, people have this tendency to want to start things at the beginning of a cycle, which is why we feel like we can struggle starting things in the middle of the week, or we like to wait till the end of the month, or we like to wait till Monday to start that new action plan, because we feel like we need structure and order in our lives. Now, this is the same for the new year. I think many of us kind of get this urge to want to make positive changes to our lives, to start the new year with a fresh approach and a new attitude. And this is just how we are built as human beings. Now, if you're lucky enough to be able to override this feeling, then that's amazing, and you can start today. But I know for many of us, starting new habits can be difficult, especially if we're presented with obstacles, and it does take time to get used to it. One thing to remember if you're trying to start something new is to start small and just change one thing at a time. Because changing too much, or trying to change too much all at once, can leave you feeling overwhelmed and is more likely to set you up for failure. Always look back over your goals to see if they've changed, because they can change from month to month or even week to week, depending on your current circumstances. Now, in order to set effective goals, we need to remember why goals are important for change. By setting goals, we are doing more than just thinking about doing something. We are developing an action plan that we can follow. It provides us with motivation, movement, and guidance, in that it gives us direction and self-confidence in what we are doing and what we are trying to achieve. Goal setting is more deliberate than desires. It's more than wanting to do something. Through actually physically setting goals and putting them down to paper, is committing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors towards that achievement. And it can help us stay on the path rather than becoming confused or maybe even getting a bit lazy with it. So, a few things to remember, or what I like to remember when setting goals, is that we need to first figure out what it is we want to accomplish. Now, this is the most important step, and sometimes it can be hard figuring out exactly what it is that we want to achieve. But the main thing is to focus on your main long-term goal and split it down into many little goals, into bite-sized pieces of information that you can digest. Now, you really need to think about what it is you want to achieve. Is it you want better dental health for your dog? Do you want to switch to a natural flea and tick prevention method? Do you want to switch to fresh feeding? What is your ultimate goal? Or you might have a few, and you can work toward these in time. Could it be physical changes, or is it just learning for now? You just need to make sure that whatever your goals look like, that you are ready to implement these changes. The next step will be to figure out, how will you know when you get there? How are you going to measure the outcomes of this goal? And this is important because if you are unable to track your progress, how do you know that it is working and that you are on your way to achieving this goal. Now, this could be if your dog needs to lose weight, then you will know because their weight will come down. And if it is switching to fresh food, then obviously you will know when your diet changes for your dog. So it's important to bear these things in mind so that you can constantly track your progress and see if further changes or amendments need to be made along the way. Now, the third step is to make sure that your goals can be achieved. Now, are they realistically within your capacity to make these changes? So don't set something too high because that can also set you up for failure if you feel like you're getting nowhere. So start with chunks that you know you will be able to easily achieve and work from there. The next is to determine, is it really worth working this hard for? Now, I know if you are setting goals to improve your dog's health, then obviously the answer is yes, and will be in most cases. But this is important to remember because if it's not something that truly motivates you, then you're not going to want to put in the work to achieve your goals. So just make sure that it is really something that you want to do and it means a lot to you before you set down this path. The final step is to determine when you want your goal to be achieved by. This also helps us stay on track with our goals and gives us more motivation and determination to succeed. It could be a couple of months, it could be 6 months, or it just could simply be by the end of the year. That is completely up to you. Now, it's important to remember that you may come across obstacles in your goal setting journey, and that is completely normal. But by setting goals, they help us develop clarity of our destination and help us to identify what's important to us and what's not. Now, you may need to go over your goals a few times just to pick out pieces of information. But by doing this, you can fully take control of what it is you want to achieve and put an effective strategy and action plan in place that you can follow to help you on your way. And with each small goal that you achieve, your confidence and enthusiasm will grow. And in time, you will find that your journey becomes a little bit easier to navigate in terms of planning and execution. So, things to remember when starting out changing your new habits is to look for support in the area. Connect with people who have similar experiences or who can offer you advice and support, or just a general chat to offload your anxieties. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. The social community, the online community, is absolutely fabulous and filled with people offering their support. So it's just knowing what to look for. Remember, it's not going to be perfect. It never will be perfect. Nothing is. It will more than likely be a struggle until you get used to it. Implementing new habits can take time because it's a change in a way of life, and that doesn't come easy. No 2 days will be the same, and sometimes there will be bumps in the road. It's just important to remember that that's okay. Sometimes you might feel overwhelmed and need a break, and that's okay too. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And if you fall off the track, just take some time, reset, and get back on when you're ready. Remember, especially if you're switching from conventional to natural methods for anything with your dog, it does take time and doesn't happen overnight. Holism focuses on your dog as an individual and a unique being, takes everything into account. So sometimes it takes a little time for things to catch up. Some key points that I think will help you achieve success is to believe in yourself. You are in the best position to take care of your dog. You know your dog better than anyone else, and you have the ability to put things in place to be able to provide that care. We just need to be confident in our own ability. Surround yourself with things that make you happy and bring positive energy, and let go of what you cannot change. Sometimes, as human beings, we tend to dwell on things, maybe the past or maybe something that's happened recently, and we can overthink a lot of things. And this impedes our ability to move forward and make positive changes. So it's crucial that we shake off that negative energy and attract positive energy instead. Focus on your own stress, focus on reducing your stress, and remember to stay grounded. If you need support with this, there are many, many things available to help you stay calm and attract positive energy. Now, in terms of my own personal goals for 2024, I have a few long-term goals, and these are to include to grow my business, which is Be More Dog Nutrition. I have several things lined up for 2024 for this, which I'm super excited about. And one of these goals through this business is to help improve the diets of 500 dogs. Now, you may think this sounds like a lot, but it's just a starting point. And for me, it's going to be one of the steps that helps me build confidence and reputation for my business. I want to create a signature program that helps pet parents switch to fresh food with ease, because this is what's important to me. I want to speak to 50 people on my podcast, which I'm sure I won't struggle with that. I want to learn more about homeopathy and herbalism for dogs, because these are the areas in which I am not as experienced and educated as I'd like to be. And my aim is to start consulting one-on-one with pet parents for holistic health by the end of the year. So there we go. They are my long-term goals. And what I will do going forward is work on each one individually and split it down into bite-sized chunks that I can manage. What will be your long-term goals and how will you achieve them? Well, that just about wraps it up. Thanks for listening, everybody. Here's from me, wishing you a happy new year and all the best for 2024. Don't forget, follow us along for more tips on canine health and tune into the podcast to check out some interesting topics throughout the year. Remember, if you are struggling, I am here for you, and together we can make the change that we want to see in the world. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to another great episode of the My Dog Made Me Do It Naturally podcast. Don't forget to check out the caption for any links discussed here today. And please, if you enjoyed the show, follow along and listen for free on your favourite podcast app. If you have any questions or would like to share your story, feel free to email me at mydogmademedoitnaturally@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Purpose of this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be substituted as advice from a veterinarian or other professional. It does not form a client relationship with me, the host, or any guest speakers, and any information is not intended to and does not diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. And my guests express our own views, thoughts, and opinions as individuals, and the podcast neither endorses or opposes the views, products, or services discussed here. If your pet is ill, always seek advice from your veterinarian. I am not a veterinarian and I do not treat disease or offer medical advice.